Hey everybody, this is Petra Monaco, and with me I have Cindy Holbrook, who is a visibility whiz. Is uniquely gifted and guiding entrepreneurs to thrive as they go up the ladder from being the best kept secret to trusted expert. As the host of the Biz Success in 15 podcast, she interviews top experts that share hot strategies listeners can implement in 15 minutes or less. I love that. She has been featured on Huffington Post Live, Women's Speaker Association TV, eHarmony Prevention Magazine, and guest at numerous summits. And now she is part of the Rebel Giveaway. And welcome.
Oh, thank you, Petra. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about your business. Tell us what a visibility whiz is, what they do, and what that means.
I have to start way back at the beginning. Uh,
Awesome.
I be- I became a coach in 2009. Like most coaches, I did not want to choose a niche. I had worked in social services for 20 years, so I believed I could help anyone. And the first year I was in business, I made a whooping $500. The second year, I decided to niche in divorce coaching. I was a coach for divorced women. Now, I started my first online business in 2001, so I had a lot of knowledge about the online world. And I live in a very, very remote area in the desert in California. We have 24,000 people in our town, and we are literally 90 miles from any other place. So, working 10 to 12 hours a day in social services did not allot me the time to drive 4 hours to speak or network with other people. So, I had to utilize all of my knowledge of the online world to get seen, to get known, and to get clients. I was able to leave social services within 2 years. My second year after I niched, I made 20,000, and then I just kept growing every year since. And what happened after I left social services and started going to networking events and conferences is other coaches would come up to me and go, "Wow, Cindy, how did you get on Huffington Post? How did you get on eHarmony? How did you get on prevention? Can you show me how?" So I started coaching other coaches along with my divorced women. Then I got involved with joint venture partners. And because I didn't really know who my ideal joint venture partner was, I started collaborating with a lot of coaches that were dating coaches.
Mm.
So I became an accidental dating coach because my list was almost combined of people, women who wanted to find love after divorce. Now, my heart and my passion was really helping women go through the grieving of divorce, finding their identity, and moving forward and creating a life that they love, not necessarily finding love again. So I was disheartened and I started like searching, like, okay, I need to do something else because I'm not being fulfilled with what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And then I decided, and I completely just morphed into being the visibility whiz because I was already coaching coaches on how to get visible online. So my whole motto is to get seen, get known, and get clients. First of all, you have to get seen by your ideal audience. And then you have to get known as a trusted expert. And that's how you get clients. A lot of people always try to go out there and find clients. And that's a struggle. I mean, just saying it, oh God, I have to go find clients. Where are my clients? I can't find them. And it's a struggle. And really and truly, once you know how to get seen by your ideal audience and get seen as a trusted and in demand expert, then your clients are finding you. It's so
Hmm.
much easier when your clients are finding you versus you trying to go out and find your client.
This is very true. And so my ideal person is, the creative, multi-passionate,
Mm.
artsy type, and also a lot of spiritual people, because they just want to do their work. They just want to do their thing that they're
Mhm.
skilled at and have sort of this whole, if you build it, they will come kind of a thing.
Right.
But that doesn't work. Like, you're still gonna have to put some kind of strategy behind, if you're trying to build a business, you're still gonna have to some kind of strategy. And
Exactly.
the best way to do it is obviously be seen, right? The more you're seen, the more people are gonna be like, "Hey, I
And
just."
not just seen, it has
Right,
to be by your ideal audience, and they have to see you as a trusted expert.
right.
Those are key. I had a client once. She was so cute. She was a spiritual coach, and she was also an amazing photographer. So she had all these photographs on one of the websites. I can't think of the name of it. And so she started posting them, like thinking that was going to get her clients. She was like, "Well, people love my pictures. How come they're not buying my products?" I'm like, "Well, your pictures have nothing to do with spirituality. People
Yeah.
like your pictures, they like the scenery." So she was being seen a whole lot by all these people that liked her pictures, but they weren't into the spiritual world. They wasn't seeing her as a spiritual coach. They was seeing her as an awesome photographer.
Yeah, it's I have a dear friend who is an artist, and said, "Well, I'm just gonna open up an Etsy shop." I'm like,
Mhm.
"That's great. Then what? What?"
Right.
Like, and I see that so much, and I, transparency, as I said, I did that when I first started my first business back in, I don't know, 2005.
Mhm.
I just built a website. I'm like, ta-da, but then nothing happened. Um, but that's the thing, is, you have to figure out. And so let me shift. Where can people sort of get more clear on their path on where to find them?
Well, first of all, the more clear you are on who your ideal client is or your ideal audience, your ideal client is different than your ideal
Mm,
audience. Your ideal audience is the big pond.
gotcha.
And so, okay, for instance, me, I coach divorced women. So my ideal client was a woman going through divorce, but my target market was women.
Hmm.
Women is the big picture. So I had to go where women were because I knew my clients were inside of that group. Um, so it's differentiating. First of all, it's really getting a clear picture of who your ideal audience is, and your ideal audience is something that we identify with. I am a
Hmm.
woman, I am a wife, I am a mother, I am an entrepreneur, I am a genealogist, right? All of
Yep.
this, you're an artist, you are creative, you are, and I seen it, I think a
I'm a special
guitar
needs
behind you,
parent.
a
Yep.
guitar behind you. So therefore you're musical, right?
Yep.
So people will say, "I am blank," and that is a target market.
Mhm.
Your ideal client doesn't go in and saying that they're your ideal client, that, this is that perfect person. I always say that whenever if you're looking for a husband, you're looking for a man, but any man is not your ideal husband. You need to know what their sense of humor is like, what their height is, what do they do for a living, what do they enjoy doing, what are their hobbies, right? You have this very clear subset of what your ideal man would look like. And you need to do the same thing with your ideal client
Mhm.
is what's their age bracket, what's their sense of humor, what do they enjoy doing, what y- what's their past like, what type of business are they in now, what's their age group. Just you really need to get down what do you love, and then all their personality traits, then
Yep.
what do you love about them, because you only want to work with people you love, because
Oh my
believe
gosh, yes. Say that again for the people in the back, because
you only want to work with people you love, and you only want to work with people that love you.
hmm.
One of my first clients, she was horrible. She, every single week that we spoke, she would yell at me. She would get so irritated and she would yell at me because of the way that I pronounced woman versus woman, man. Okay.
Oh my,
And I would like hang up and I would like cry because
yeah.
I'm like, I'm trying so hard to pronounce these words, but I was a confused child. My dad was from the South and my mom was from New York, and it came up with a very interesting words that I use. And so,
I mean, English is my second language, so I can kind of relate.
and so and then my coach told me, fire her. And I go, huh? She
Yeah.
goes, fire her. You're not doing her any good. If she is so hung up on the way you are pronouncing words, you are not helping her.
Yeah.
And, we did not go into business to be miserable. So you want to fire those clients and make room for the clients that you love.
This is very true.
So,
And I feel like when you find that ideal client, like you will know in every
oh,
fiber
yeah,
being this is the person I wanted to work with my entire, like
exactly.
you just know that in every fiber of your being. Like I think of her very specifically, like, yeah, I was so excited she hired me, you know what I mean? Because it
It's
just felt
you
so
click, you
good.
resonate, you just know it's somebody you want to go have lunch with.
Yes.
And all of your clients really and truly have a six-figure business. You can have a six-figure business with less than 50 clients. You can even have a six-figure business with 20 clients. And so, aren't there, and if let's even take 50 or let's say 52 clients, do you think you can find one person in every state in the United States that would be your ideal client? Somebody that you would love and really connect with? You know, we
Yeah.
can. And that's all you need to have a successful business. So stop just accepting anybody and everybody and thinking. And as far as whenever you let go of a client that's not good for you, you'll find one or two clients that are good for you because you're opening up space, you're opening up your mind, and you're happier. And your energy is completely different because you're not thinking, oh my God, I hope I don't get another one of them. Um, so also, whenever you're creating who your ideal client is, get creative. Get your coloring pens and sit there and draw a picture of your ideal client. You'll be very amazed sometimes of what comes out. I am not an artist. I will show you. I'm not an artist.
That's okay.
But but whenever I drew my ideal client here
Yeah.
with all of her things, and I just did it, just colored, I was really surprised. I was very shocked at how big her heart was. Okay. But then see, you have the trees and the sun. So she likes the outdoors. She likes the sun and she has a big heart. But everybody was like, well, naturally, your ideal client has a big heart, Cindy, because you have a big heart. But that never would have came to me with the hours and hours and hours that I was trying to write down my ideal client. It came to me whenever I was drawing her and just
Yeah.
letting my creative juices flow.
That
So,
I can resonate with that. I went to a festival for the first time a few years ago. Like I'm big into the music, and I
mhm,
went to a festival, and I was reading like a certain type of books, and all of a sudden I'm like, this is where my people are because
right.
we have something
Mhm.
that resonates with our people, and there's a similarity somewhere or a connection, and that's how we resonate. Like it was sort of like, these are my people. Okay, now I know, right? Like now I
Exactly.
know where to go and hang out and talk to them and make connections and tell them what I do.
Exactly, and it is. I know one person drew like a picture of skis in the background, you know. It's like because they like to ski, the music festival, for you, it's anything like that. And because whenever you have something I mean, all of our friends, we have something in common with them. And we have something in common with our ideal clients. Something attracts us to them, their qualities, who they are. So you write down what you love about them, and you also write down what they love about you. And this is sometimes what can get hard. What do they love about me? Well, why do they like that? And if you have clients or you have past clients, send them a quick email and say, hey, can I ask you what made you decide to work with me?
Yeah.
You will be surprised. And this is when I never owned this before. I did this, and every single person wrote back, I love how intuitive you are. I was like, holy crap, I never thought of that. I, I never would have said, "Hey, this is one of my list of qualities I'm into." I do now because
Yeah.
I understand and I own my intuitiveness and I understand that it's what attracts people to me. It's what they love about
Yeah.
me. They love that I tell it like it is in a loving way. That's what they always tell me.
Yeah, I
Down and
somebody
dirty, and
told
you
me
tell
I'm
it
like
like it is,
that
but in a
tough
loving
love.
way.
I do that tough love mother thing. Like I talk to them like my teenage boys, you know what I
Right.
mean? But it's still very loving, but it's also calling them out and be like, "What are you doing?"
Exactly.
Like, "What do you think you're gonna get away with?" type situation. So I get, and
And
I love that.
and so, and if you don't have any ideal clients yet, you can also do just an extra, and this is interesting. And if you have any, and we all have them at some point in our life, some of us have grown a little bit out of it, but our own confidence issues and how confident we are in ourselves and in our business. But there's an exercise you could do. Ask 5 people that you know that you're close to list 3 qualities that they love about you and 3 qualities that they don't like too much about you. Don't use the word hate, just 3 qualities they don't like too much about you. What's very interesting is number one, you're going to see how so many things overlap between the 5 people you ask. But a lot of people have an easier time accepting the bad things versus the
Mm,
good things. So it's like, what do what do you not like about me too much? Well, you talk too much. Okay. Yeah, that's true. I talk too much. I can definitely accept that. What do, what's one of my good qualities? Well, you're very, very giving. I'm like, I'm not really. I could give so much more. I'm not really. And it's just a lot of us do that, especially at first. But when you sit there and you ask 5 people and just accept what they say, they're not saying it, and ask them to be brutally honest.
yeah.
But because it's really for some odd reason easier for us to accept their negatives than their positives. But then own those positives, because the people that you love, your husband, your wife, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your best friend, whoever it is, they love you for who you are, and they see these qualities in you, so own them.
Mhm.
And
Love
sometimes that
that.
can be really difficult. I had a very difficult time owning that I am a leader, a
Mm,
very difficult time. I was in this program, and my mentor always made me the leader of all these little breakout groups, and he always put me in charge. And I was like, stop it, stop it. And he's like, you're a born leader. And I go, no, I'm not.
yeah.
He's like, I
I
did
think
not
that
want
I
this.
think some of the people that may have been in social work and mental health will be able to relate with that, because we're just here to be of service, right? We don't consider
Right.
ourselves to be leaders, and then we're like, oh.
Exactly, exactly. And, but own it. Own it, because these are good qualities. These are some of the things that the people you love the most love about you. And if the people you love the most love this about you, it's something that is going to draw your ideal clients to you as well, because it's a part of who you are innately.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So you have a free gift for the giveaway. Share about that a little bit so that people know why they would want that.
Well, first of all, again, as I said, you want to get seen by your ideal audience, and you want to get known as a trusted expert. Because even though somebody loves you, they may not trust you to solve their problems. And so you have to be known as a trusted expert. One thing before I tell you about the gift is I really want you to ask yourself what so many people struggle with is we're trying to see what makes us different from all the other health coaches, from
Mm,
all the other creative coaches, from all
yeah.
the other journalists, from all the other blah, blah, blah. So if you sit there and you ask yourself this one question, you're going to know what sets you apart. That question is, what do other people in your niche do that drive you absolutely crazy? Because if it drives you crazy, that's what sets you apart, because other people are doing it and it just makes you want to pull your hair out, right? So that's what sets you apart. So stop comparing yourself to all these other people. Ask yourself that one
Like,
question.
come me jazz. That's another
Yeah.
one. People in the back, listen.
Ask yourself that one. What do other people in my niche do that drive me crazy? And just know that that's what sets you apart. My gift to you is the 9 steps to be a trusted and in-demand expert. It's a video series. There's 10 videos. There's one little video for each step, and then also I have a welcome video. Each one comes with action steps. Even though you can get them and you can consume them all at once, I strongly advise that you watch one video a day or one video every other day and take the action steps. They're really easy to do. Some of it's just brain work,
Mhm.
thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? And this is going to give you ideas and help you to move forward. Because once you're known as a trusted expert, then your clients are definitely finding you, and it puts so much less stress on you because you're not trying to find them and pull them in.
Yeah, I love that. Um, Very, very true, and very, very powerful when you get to know your people and you just kind of know. And I think, like, for people that are just maybe starting or beginning, it can be pretty daunting
Mhm.
to like, they have all these credentials. I mean, I remember I have all these credentials, but how do I share that without being, egotistical about it?
But you know what? It's not the credentials that
Right,
matter.
right.
I have been in business. I've been a coach since 2009. I have
Hmm.
been asked one time about my credentials.
Yep.
One time in 12 years.
Yeah.
People don't care about your credentials. When you're speaking with somebody, they're not thinking. Number one, they're not thinking about, hmm, Tony Robbins teaches the same thing, so why am I listening? They're not thinking that.
Yeah.
They are thinking, how can Petra help me?
Yep.
How
My
can Petra help me solve my problem? If I think Petra can help me solve the problem that I have, then
and I
we're in.
tell you, because I
Mhm,
was stuck in that in the very beginning, and then I started sharing my life
mhm,
experiences, which, y'all, that matters way more. And then
mhm.
how you show up now, like the
Exactly.
stuff that I went through to still
Mhm,
be here, right? Like, it's that, and then how I show up now. That makes all the
exactly.
difference. Not how many years I spent in college.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I sort of liked even about the rebel giveaway, even though per se I've never thought myself as a rebel, but I was raised in a very abusive home growing up, and definitely had, a lot of crap that I had to overcome, and I didn't even realize it. Like, I never thought that I was in a traumatic situation.
Yeah.
I never realized that I wasn't living my life. When I was 35 years old, my first mentor coach told me, Cindy, your life is your choice.
Hmm.
And that too is, so much of it is like, really? Well, no, I didn't. I thought she was nuts because I said, nobody in this world, nobody in their right mind would want the life that I have right now. Thank you very much. I was depressed. I was suicidal. My marriage was going to hell. I had 10 deaths in my immediate family within a
Yep.
couple-year period. My daughter was being rebellious and got involved with gangs. I mean,
Mhm.
my life was shit. And I
I
thought,
can
what are you
resonate
telling
with
me my
that.
life is my choice? Uh-uh.
I resonate with that. I grew up in foster care since I was 2,
Mhm.
and so there comes a lot of abuse and a lot of
Right,
negative stories with that already. And then I became an immigrant, and that was a whole nother spiel. And then I
right,
became a special needs parent, and I was literally at one point going, "Are you kidding me right now?" My
right.
I've already been through so much, and now I have this, like, what? And somebody was like, "Well, it depends. It matters how you show up." And I'm like, "Well, I don't really have a choice to not show up."
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, so the rebel for me is that, so, like, I'm the underdog, and so the underdog resonates with me, right?
Mhm.
Because we've been through some shit, as you said, and we've been told, or maybe had the feeling of not being able to be successful.
Exactly.
Um,
And that's what wreaks on your confidence and on so much of your success level because you're not feeling worthy, you don't
yep.
feel confident, and you have all these feelings that you can overcome. I'm actually in the process of writing my story, a book that will be
Yay.
released later this year because I know that it can help other people.
Yeah.
But when I always have a saying that your past does not have to define who you are today, and your past definitely does not have to define your future
Absolutely.
because we've all had crap happen to us. And so it's how you choose to look at this stuff and move forward and make something of yourself. When I look back at, and I used to always call it my hell years. And just recently, when I started writing my book, my daughter was like, Mom, you always call it your hell years, but that was really the beginning of your healing. And I said, You're so
Oh,
right.
I just got chills on that.
That was the beginning
Woo!
of my healing. My hell years was the beginning of my healing, and I
Yeah.
had to go through those hell years to heal
Mhm.
and to be able to serve the people that I serve now.
Yeah.
And, it just
And I
it's really
think anybody
a
that's
wonderful
in this
experience.
space as a coach that has, those kind of experience. Like for me, my son being ill and me intuitively keeping him alive for years without knowing, like that was sort of like my proverbial aha going,
Right.
how am I showing up in this world? What am I doing with my life? Like
Mhm.
here I was 30 blaming my parents for being broke at
Ex
30. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I was like, okay, it's time to stop and show up differently. And that's
Mhm.
when my healing started because my
And
son still calls me out today.
and you know what was interesting with me is I never really, quote, unquote, "blamed" my parents.
Yeah.
My mother was great. I never would have blamed her anyway, so it's my father, but I never, like, blamed him. I honestly had this, like, internal belief that I was born to be at other people's beck and call. So
Mm,
I would do whatever anybody wanted me to do because that's what I was born to do. I didn't realize that I had a choice in life. I didn't realize that I had a right to my own opinion. A lot of times, especially when I was coaching divorced women, was like I would have them write a Bill of Rights. I have a right to my opinion. I have a right to say no. I have a right to say yes. I have a right to love. I have a right to not love. I have a right to live my life the way I want to. And once you start realizing that you do have a right, because I really felt like I had no right to my life, that it was like I was a plaything, I was a
yeah.
doll that anybody could twist and turn in whatever direction they wanted to.
Cindy, think that was very powerful. I think a lot of people that are trying to be seen and be more
Mhm.
credible and just like we deal with these stories in our head, right?
Yes.
And they can't, and even the most loving home has their stories. It might have
Oh,
not been at
definitely.
home, I mean, it could have been at school, it could have been in your adolescent years, it could be your first boyfriend, it could have been anybody that impacted your what you believe is your worth, and then you don't show up.
And I want to say just about being seen. I've had clients I never had a hard time with, but I have had clients who like didn't even want to put their picture on Facebook because they did not literally want to be seen. But we don't want to be seen in different ways. It's like we have a half mask on, or, we only let them see what we want to see, or we have to be perfect. All these things that we wear. But one thing, and I always say, like with my first business, is my father used to always tell me that if I let anybody read what I wrote, that I would be a laughing stock.
Mm.
So when I started my first business, I sold pewter figurines with a drop shipper, and I had to write descriptions of these pewter
Oh my.
figurines. And this was my first writing, like, that anybody's seen, writing these
Yeah.
descriptions of these pewter figurines online. But within about 6 months, other people were copying my descriptions. And
Mhm.
I thought, my writing must not be, but I needed that to even break into. Now my writing's all over the internet. I mean, it's like anybody everywhere. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, whatever, because of wherever I was at that point in my life.
Yeah.
But it was very tough for me overcoming that. Just, you're going to be a laughing stock. So as far as me being seen and even going along with my writing, is I had to overcome, I don't want to be a laughing stock. I mean, who wants to be a laughing stock, right?
Right.
So we all have fears about being seen somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And once you get over those fears and acknowledge them and move forward, that's whenever magic can really happen in your business.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Cindy, thank you so much for this conversation and just sharing so much of that. Gosh, I hope you're all listening and grab her a gift and then work with her.
Well, thank you, Petra. It's been a pleasure. And thank you for having me as a contributor in your giveaway.
All right.